Hello artist friends! In today's video, I'm going to talk about why I love loose watercolor florals. And if you clicked on this video, you probably also love loose floral watercolor, or you are just starting in this journey of loose florals. You might be a painter that paints other things and you're wanting to try this version, this style, or maybe you are completely new like I was and you're drawn to it somehow. So I just want to share with you the reasons why I love loose floral watercolors. And I'm going to divide this into three parts: why I love flowers, why I love watercolor, and why I love loose style. Before we start this video, I also want to let you know that I have a 7-day free trial on my Patreon for the month of March 2025. It's my 1-year anniversary on Patreon, so I'm offering it for free, 7-day free for my Advocates tier, the $5 tier, where you have access to 100 plus online tutorials. They used to be on my YouTube, but not anymore, so they're only on my Patreon. So if you're interested, you want to paint with me, check it out. Otherwise, let's watch this video. Also, while I chat to you, I thought I would just show you a couple of paintings in the background that I have been working on recently, and these are all available on my Patreon as tutorials. So let's get started with the video. Flowers. It's interesting because you ask me why I love flowers. It's like asking someone maybe like, why do you love chocolate? Or why do you love animals? Something you just do, right? You just love it because you just know in your heart you're just drawn to flowers. And what I've observed over the years of painting flowers and being in this floral world is that seems to be 99% women that are into loose florals or floral arrangement. And of course, there are some guys up there, some men that do it too, I'm sure. But it just seems to be like in my social media world and people who I interact with are mostly women. And therefore, it's hard to ignore the fact that women love flowers, and flowers therefore equate with some kind of femininity, right? And if we talk about femininity today, sometimes people are a little bit like, oh, you know, in today's world of gender equality and trying to erase the differences between men and women and what men like, what women like. I mean, we're trying to teach our children that it's okay for a boy to like pink and that sort of thing. You know, we're in that kind of world today. And despite that, you just do still see that women are attracted to flowers. How I feel when I gaze at a flower, when I paint a flower, is I feel it embodies everything that somehow innately I want to be myself, or I can resonate with. You know, the fragrance, the softness of the petals, the colors that just show it's beautiful. Feels like my heart sings when I am with flowers. And the interesting thing is, actually, as a child, I was never really the most feminine person. You know, I was quite a tomboy. I loved sports. I never really wore skirts and all that. To just suddenly paint flowers at age 40. Maybe it was just my suppression of that side of me, of this floral part of me that I kind of like ignored my whole life. It just suddenly went boom, okay, woman, you need to pay attention now to your feminine side, and flowers are speaking to you. So yeah, flowers have always been in the background for me. I love flowers, I love looking at them, but I've never really embraced the whole floral thing until recently when I've just started, you know, painting florals in lockdown. So that's why I love flowers now and the whole energy of flowers. All right, why are flowers great for painting? So I found that flowers, provide all the colors of the rainbow. So if you love color like me and you want to paint with all the colors you have, well, not all, but like a lot of colors, flowers provide the perfect subject to do so. Unlike landscapes, where if you look at a landscape, it is mostly green, blue, brown, gray, you know, earthy colors, which are beautiful. And of course, there are amazing artists that paint colorful landscapes. But, you know, as a beginner, and if you don't really know how to change a boring earthy looking landscape into something colorful yet. Flowers are just the most obvious thing for us to just recreate with our paints. Secondly, textures. So flowers, provide all the different kind of textures. If you're into something flowy and soft, you can paint peonies and irises. If you're into something more structured, more sort of like, you can paint zinnias. If you like something really tiny and cute and little, you can paint poppies and cosmos. Or if you want something like a little bit, challenging and different, hydrangea, 1,000 flowers in one flower, that sort of thing. So textures, all the different sort of like shapes and textures and sizes. Flowers have it all. It's like a great family of this beautiful spectrum, this variety for us to choose. And not to mention leaves, like the leaves part. I know you know and I know how leaves are like the amazing support, background support in the flower painting, in the flower world, all the beautiful textures and shapes and shades of the green we can play with. You can tell I'm getting excited. So flowers, how can we not paint flowers? Okay, next. Finally, what I found was that flowers were also a really sort of easy, contained subject to tackle as a beginner. It's more forgiving than, say, portraiture or figurative. So in terms of learning the proportions and learning the structure, we can always start with just this basic flower stuff that we learned as where we used to draw as children, the 5-petal thing. You can always just start there and your flower will still look beautiful and convincing. So, and unlike a landscape painting where you're like, where do I start? Where do I stop? Like, what do I include? Where's my framing? It just feels like flowers are very obvious. Like, this is a flower, you paint the flower. So I feel like as a subject, it's so much more contained and easy in a way. That's just me. I'm sure a lot of people feel different things and some people find flowers really, really hard. But I found flowers just easy to ease into, and then you can get better and better as you develop your skill. You can get, the proportions better, where it's facing and all that, and that comes in time. So yeah, those are the reasons why I love flowers, why I paint flowers. Now let's talk about why watercolor. So as a beginner artist who never went to art school, and I also never even really did high school art. In my school in Singapore, art was really, really not important. So don't think I ever even tried acrylic. I didn't even learn the color wheel. I swear to you, I didn't even learn color wheel in school. So as a very beginner artist, watercolor was just one of the things that just felt easy to ease into straight away. I had my kids' watercolor set at home and I just tried an online tutorial with them, and that's how I got started. The easiness of it, easy to clean, you just need water, and also easy to activate. I don't need to squeeze out all the different tubes beforehand. Everything is on my palette. I just spray it and I can start straight away. So the easefulness of it, so easy to pack up, clean, store. And even space-wise, you don't need a lot of space. You just paint on paper, you don't paint on canvases. Everything just feels very compact and easy. Also, I love the look of watercolor. Like, the translucency is a big thing that I've always been attracted to. Before I became an artist, I would go to art galleries and I would be so drawn to the watercolor art, especially those beautiful, very translucent watercolor painting with like little pencil sketches, and I just love those so much. I've always been drawn to watercolor as opposed to something more opaque. And then finally, why I love loose painting is, firstly, it is fast. I'm not saying that all loose painting is fast, but a lot of loose painting is fast, as in the speed of painting is fast, and also I can complete a painting in a very short amount of time, like in 20 minutes, in half an hour, sometimes even 5 minutes, I can complete a painting. And that suits my personality, my patience level, and also my life as a busy mom. Secondly, loose painting usually doesn't require you to sketch beforehand or do any drawing. So I just don't like drawing. I'm not a drawer, I'm not a sketcher. I sometimes do it when I'm really bored and I'm at a cafe and I don't want to look at my phone and I have a sketchbook, and yeah, it's fun for a bit, but it's just not something I've been doing since I was a kid. I've never been the kid that doodles and draw. I really am not. So because it doesn't require that step, I really enjoy putting paint on the paper straight away, and loose florals was one of the styles that just let's go for it, let's just put the paint on. And finally, why I like to paint loose is because I like the look of loose. I like how loose is very expressive. I know the word expressive is such a weird artistic term, isn't it? It means it's just like, oh, it's got personality, it's got splashes, it's got like, dramatic, bold things happening on the painting. I also like that it's a bit abstract. Not always, but I'm also quite attracted to abstract art and abstract landscape, meaning like it's not the exact representation of the photograph, but it is a loose, using shapes and value to depict something. So I just love that bit about loose painting. I like that I can just dab and make marks with my brushes in a quick, loose way to paint a flower, rather than meticulously looking at the lines and the shapes and the shadows and all of those things. I really hope you enjoyed this little chat on why I love loose floral watercolor and maybe why you do too. Let me know in the comments below if you also feel the same way. And check out my Patreon. Like I said, it's 7 days free trial this month of March 2025. Go in, check it out, check all of the classes that I have available for you. Otherwise, make sure you like and subscribe to this video, to my channel, and then I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.